That's how she got her name, and that's also the reason that the Trump campaign is interested in her. It's because they think they found a talking head that black people will listen to.
Amber Rose's speech at the RNC has sparked a lot of controversy. Black Americans are asking questions like, why do they think that she is the one fit enough to convince them to vote for Donald Trump? There was a particular tweet that she made as well that is finding its way back to the media, where she confirmed that this same Trump is a sexual pig. In her speech, she had mentioned how the media has really pushed so many negative narrative about Donald Trump and how she is on the stage to set the record straight. There are so many Black Americans literally reacting to her speech. And on the other hand, there are some people saying she gave the best speech ever, praising her and saying she didn't say anything wrong, that every single thing she said on that stage, fact. And because of that, they are going to consider voting for this man. Like I said, it sparked a lot of controversy and people are reacting to it. I have put together all of these clips, so without wasting much time, let's get right into it.
My name is Amber Rose. I'm a model and entrepreneur. Thank you. But most importantly, I'm a mother. My whole world revolves around providing for my children, keeping them safe, and giving them an opportunity for a better life. That's something that unites all American parents, whether we're Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, or liberals. We all want a better country for our children. But I'm here tonight to tell you, no matter your political background, that the best chance we have to give our babies a better life is to elect Donald Trump President of the United States. Now, you may be wondering why I'm up here telling you this. I'm no politician, and I don't want to be. But I do care about the truth. And the truth is that the media has lied to us about Donald Trump. I know this because for a long time I believed those lies. So I'm here to set the record straight. The first person I knew who supported Donald Trump was my father. I was shocked. My entire family is racially diverse. And I believed the left-wing propaganda that Donald Trump was a racist. My father said, "No, he's not, Amber. What are you talking about?" And when I insisted, he said, "Prove it." So to prove my father wrong, I did my research and looked into all things Donald Trump. People have to do their research. I watched all the rallies, and I started meeting so many of you, his red hat wearing supporters. I realized Donald Trump and his supporters don't care if you're black, white, gay, or straight. It's all love. And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong. So I let go of my fear of judgment, of being misunderstood, of getting attacked by the left, and I put the red hat on too. Thank you.
Amber Rose took an Uber to the Republican National Convention, stood up on that stage, took a look at Donald Trump in that crowd and everyone else, smiled, and said, "These are my people. This is where I belong." And see now, the most alarming part of this isn't what she did in this convention. It's what she does outside of this convention. Because Amber Rose is a mother to 2 black boys. She has one son with rapper Wiz Khalifa, and she has another son with Alexander Edwards. And this is why, as black people in America, you need to be really careful and really think about who you choose to be the parent of your children. Because that one-drop rule is really one-dropping right here. And speaking of that, can we all agree at this point that Jocelyn Hernandez was 100% right when she called out Amber Rose on College Hill Celebrity Edition for the way she operates within the Black community and outside of it. Jocelyn, you were right.
Member of Congress, who was a Republican, came out immediately and blamed the incident on DEI and said that the fact that there were women and Black people in the Secret Service is the reason this happened. That is a member of Congress who went out on the TV and said to the world that DEI was the cause of an assassination attempt. This is where the Republican Party is. So it's ironic that they were able to recruit this young woman who, she's a racially ambiguous. I don't want to say she's Black because she has said she's not. So I don't want to say this Black woman, this woman who is of whatever race that she has claimed. She said she's not Black. But they've brought somebody whose whole career is based in Black culture. She used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason most people know who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African-American rappers in the business in the history of hip-hop. So her whole culture came from Black culture, even though she says she's not a Black person herself. And the fact that she is now the person they're using to try to recruit young people of color and to say that this is the person who is the endorser of Donald Trump who you should trust, when she won't even claim the culture that brought her to the table. I'm dubious that this will work. I don't know anyone who takes their political cues from Amber Rose, but just in case you do, you might want to duplicate doing your own research because she might not have done it thoroughly.
In light of Amber Rose's rousing speech at the RNC in support of Trump, as well as growing discourse around Usha Vance, JD Vance's wife, I have a few things to say. There are people in this world who believe that proximity to whiteness and undergirding white supremacy and a multitude of forms of bigotry will keep them safe and will keep them powerful, even when those choices reify systemic violences that undermine their best interests. More than anger or disappointment, I feel pity for people who believe this lie, because how little do you have to think about yourself to believe that systems that have been the precondition for your own subjugation and for the subjugation of the communities you inhabit will now suddenly be your salvation. Moments like this viscerally remind me that not all skinfolk are kinfolk, and not everyone's trying to get free the way you're trying to get free. They'll weaponize your optics, your perceived visual belonging to communities on the margins to further their agenda of exclusion and bigotry, and then they will still not choose you. Ask Tim Scott. They will still not choose you.
You know, earlier this year, I made a video speaking on how women that be in that fast life, that nightlife, using their body to get what they want, woo, how they can be burnt out, washed up, and how they can look so tired because, you're using your body to get what you want. And that is a young woman's game. And I use Amber Rose as an example because I said Amber Rose was washed up. And when I tell you that comment section, they lit me up. They called me a hater and yada yada this and yada yada that. Well, Lord and behold, look at Amber Rose turning her back on her slut walk and, women rights, whatever, for $1 from Daddy Trump. This is what washed up women do. They do stuff like this because they need to get in that man's pockets. And the funny thing about this is the Puerto Rican princess was right. The Puerto Rican princess was right. And y'all can say what y'all want to say about her, but look, she ain't never been wrong when it come to race and ethnicity and all that type of stuff, because she told y'all about Amber Rose.
Good afternoon. So I just popped on here to say something real quick, and I want to be unmistakably clear. Amber Rose does not speak for me. She does not speak for Black women. She does not speak for the Black community. And she certainly doesn't speak for young people. I'm not sure what they thought they were doing last night. And Van Jones ought to be ashamed of himself talking about it's a bunker buster. Listen, these people going to play these games up on this internet and play in your face on these cable news shows and do all this stuff because they need a back and forth. But I can assure you, she's not moving nothing. She ain't convincing nothing. She's not even starting nothing. It was dead before it started. It was ended before it began. Period. Like, girl gone. Gone somewhere. We ain't got time. We have things to do. We have real things to focus on. You ain't it.
And that's when it hit me. These are my people. This is where I belong.
Amber Rose is a grifter through and through. Now, look, I used to be an Amber Rose fan. Back in the day, I listened to her podcast religiously. I bought her book. I read it. I was making plans to go to LA so I could attend her slut walk. So watching her morph into what she's become now is just so appalling. Because it's not like it's like Sexy Red situation where we just found out about her a year ago and we just find out that she's a Trump supporter. No, Amber Rose has been in the game a minute. She's been around. Amber Rose went from peddling women's rights to podcasting, to being an author. She was tweeting out things like this about Donald Trump. She went from that to making music. That didn't work out. She was putting a post on her Instagram promoting Mex products. And I'm not talking about like a collab with a brand, even though she did that too. I'm talking like somebody would pay her like a little chunk of change and then she would go on to promote these like crazy, super graphic videos of like toys on Instagram. And then she went from that to trying to sell us a cryptocurrency. It's just giving the rent is due and this is my next grift, because where else was she gonna go? To think that Amber Rose would be the person that they would use to try to get voters of color and voters from urban communities to join the Republican Party is so funny and so misguided. I literally cannot think of anybody who would make me want to run the opposite direction more than Amber Rose. And to think that this is how they feel about you, like this is what some of them think of you, and of all people, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene having to come to your defense. So if your people consist of the party notoriously known for being anti-women, anti-education, anti-people of color, and anti-poor, then baby, they can have you. What's that saying again? The trash always takes itself out.
My issue with Amber Rose is this. The reason we know who Amber Rose is because of her proximity to blackness. That's how she got her name, and that's also the reason that the Trump campaign is interested in her. It's because they think they found a talking head that black people will listen to. Jocelyn Hernandez might have been on something when she said she thinks she's a white girl, because she also claimed that she isn't black, but she is racially ambiguous, and in some ways appears that she could possibly be a black woman. So these Trump people think that this is a, black woman that, black people will listen to and believe is propaganda. My other issue with her is the lies that she spew out as a Donald Trump isn't racist. A simple Google search will let you know that that's exactly not true. Donald Trump supports policies that roll back diversity, equity, and inclusion. In states such as Texas and Florida and all these other southern states, he's a supporter of these policies. They're essentially testing these policies out at the state level to see what they work for our nation. He also supports things like rolling back the teaching of black history. We need black women to talk about real black women issues and not someone like Amber Rose to be cosplaying as a black woman and pretending to care about the issues that are important to black women, such as black women having one of the highest maternal mortality rates, especially in the South where the majority of black women live. I think that's my issue with Amber Rose, and no one should be taking fucking political advice from her.
You know who I want to talk about from the RNC that I haven't seen much about her, but Amber Rose. Because I prejudged her a little bit. When I first saw her in that Trump TikTok and she's walking over to the Cadillac with Trump written in the orange letters, I was just thinking pandering immediately. Because I had also seen a similar TikTok with Whoa Vicky in it. And I was like, that's a little bit way too much ghetto for me. But when she spoke last night, I could relate to her completely. Being an undecided voter and wanting to do your research, becoming interested in a candidate that you used to detest because you want to see the world become a better place. You want to see the United States become a better place. So I could relate to her on every topic that she brought up. And I thought it was really powerful. Not only the fact that she's a minority and she's saying, look, I got it wrong about the guy, and I just want you to go out and do your research and choose a candidate that best lines up with your interests. And I feel like more celebrities should be doing that. And of course, she's endorsing Trump, but she told us more of her story. And that's what I love about her.
Okay, so most of y'all probably seen these clips online about Amber Rose. And so I just needed to If I could give her 2 pieces of advice as her therapist, this is what I would do. This is what I would say. This is what I would do with her as a therapist. 1, we have to dig back into some childhood situations to figure out what went on her mama's side that have her not wanting to identify as being Black. Like, what happened in the Black households in your family that have you okay with being in Black culture but not wanting to represent Black culture, if that makes sense. Like, you in it, but you're not representing. And why do you feel the need to have to choose being Black or being white? Like, can't you be both? Like, your DNA encompasses both. Second, I'm trying to figure out, what do you mean by you feel like Trump party is where you belong when you basically fought for women's rights, and he is okay with women being arrested and prosecuted for wanting and getting an abortion, which is a woman's right. It's contradicting itself. So help me understand what part of his platform is overriding your belief in women's rights. And why is it okay for you to abandon that as a woman, for you to abandon the rights of women to join this platform? Those are the 2 things that I think I would focus on in a therapy session, because I'm trying to figure out, why are we just so confused about where we belong in our identity? For real. Like, what is happening?
It has left so many people with a lot of questions. Firstly, so many people are asking why they think she's going to be a spokesperson for the Black community, for Black women, or she'll be able to, draw in more Black people to be able to vote for Donald Trump. A lot of people are asking that question. And in her speech, she as well mentioned that she did her research and she realized that they have been lying. And people are asking, if you did your research and you realize that the media have been lying, have you read about the Project 2025? Because if you care about your kids, in some of the things that were listed in the Project 2025 is that they are going to take the right away from so many people. So are you sure you really did your research? These are the questions that people are asking. So let me hear what you guys think about her speech, and what do you guys think about what other people are saying. And like I said, there are some people on the other end as well, literally rooting and supporting and clapping for her, saying that she has the best speech. This person said, read Project 2025. That has greatly changed my perception of this campaign. Another person said, you all realize all the inflation is due to his poor management of COVID along with his tax plans he put into place, all right? So many people are coming out as well to say that, why are you going to go on a stage to just be lying? Another person said, Trump is one of the biggest reasons our economy is the way it is now, and you all don't want to admit it. Biden hasn't done much to fix it, but Trump threw a sledgehammer to it just to save himself and his friends a few more dollars, and he's going to do it again. You all ignorance will further destroy our future. Another person said, brainwashing needs reinforcers. American families suffered under Trump, but he always blamed it on someone else. He was not responsible for gas or jobs. Many of these things were due to previous company job growth plans and the pandemic. I cannot stress this enough. Amber Rose does not speak for the Black community. Full stop. Why do they insist that Black Americans need incompetent, out of touch celebrity leadership? This person said, do people forget it was COVID? Most were working from home. His administration was pumping trillions into the economy. How exactly did he make anything better? There is no law or legislation he passed that has changed the country. He passed a tax cut to give money to rich people, but Republicans been doing that for years. Project 2025 is contrary to your speech. People are as well pointing out the Project 2025. Like, are you aware of the Project 2025? Just on the stage lying. Because if you did your research well, you don't even need to go far to know yourself that you are lying. Let me hear what you guys think about that speech, and what do you guys think about what all these people are saying as well. And I am going to see you guys in the next one.